A little while ago, I posted a comment about YinYang and Malcolm's Thunderstorm generator. I was going to go into a bit more detail now. So we'll start with YinYang. It's over 3,000 years old with an unknown origin. It's been very successful, being passed down through religions and martial arts for those 3,000 years. We all know it's about balancing energies. It's also about the four elements: fire, earth, air and water. These elements work well when you're doing ceramics, metalwork, farming, basic medicine. It's all fine, but eventually it's not relevant anymore. Except we start looking at the elements, you find that fire is heat and energy, which is really water, sorry. Then you start looking at the elements and you find that fire is heat and light, which is energy. Water's a liquid, earth's a solid, and air is a gas. So you start combining those, and we're now talking about physics. You can dissolve the earth in the water, boil it up, make different gases. We're now talking about chemistry and biology. And the other rumour is that once you've mastered yin yang, you get chi. If you ask a modern martial artist what chi is, they will tell you it's breathing. Similar to like a tennis player when they hit the tennis ball. But if you go back in time, chi was described as the energy of the universe. Now combining this with Malcolm's Thunderstorm generator, you have the fire in the heat and the light that charges the air. You have the water, which is compressing and releasing and compressing and releasing the air, which is creating the plasmoids. Then you go into the thunderstorm generator, which is made out of the earth. But the earth is also a giant electromagnet, and that's where my theory comes in. By putting an electromagnet at the end of the thunderstorm generator. Yeah, so I will now show you the geometry of yin yang. Right, we start with a circle with a diameter of 4, and from there we can find the circle with a diameter of 2. Right, so then we do the 2 half circles with a diameter of 2, and from there we can find the circle with a diameter of 1. So now we have the circle of 4 is the circumference, the 2 circles with 2, diameter of 2, and the 2 circles with a diameter of 1. And if we go back to this, that means that from this edge to this edge is 3. And this is what it looks like with the diameter of 3. I will colour that in. Okay, I've coloured it in following the same principles as how the yin yang is originally done. This theory says that the electrons will be pushed under each other. I think if you squint, it does actually look as if it's going round and under. Maybe not. Anyway, it is just a theory. Okay, onto the plasmoid. The plasmoid itself, if you were to look at the plasmoid, it would be kind of donut shaped, with the top electron wave function spinning one way and the bottom electron wave function spinning the other way. And there would be a line, a horizon between the two. This line would be a wavy line rather than a straight horizontal line. And this is true in a stationary plasmoid, but the plasmoids we're talking about are moving. So this will mean that the electrons that are moving with the plasmoid have further to go than the ones moving in the opposite direction. cat. So the electrons moving with the plasmoid will have further to go, and this will create a kind of traffic jam because they can't get any closer. The electrons can't get any closer together, so they'll dip down and go up, and that will be the opposite on the top and bottom. And that is where the yin-yang theory comes in. So as the plasmoid is moving, it will look more like the yin-yang symbol on its side. Okay, so because of the way the electron wave function now is in a moving plasmoid, this gives an offset in the momentum of an angle of around 1 degree. So using Randall-Carlson's sacred geometry, we shall call that 1.16 degrees. So this then means that the angle needed to deflect the plasmoid is 51.6, and the equation for this, and the cat's back, and the equation for this is 1.16 times 45 minus half of 1.16, and that gives the angle of 51.62. You've got to go, cat. But a collision on the atomic level isn't the same as a collision like a ball bouncing. It's an exchange of momentum rather than any other types of energies, really. So they don't actually touch. It's the electromagnetic that sends them off, so they can be deflected faster than what they initially hit with. So recently I've had to delve into yin-yang for a different reason, and when I heard Randall Carlson on the Danny Jones podcast, it seemed quite obvious that yin-yang could be applied to this. So we have the yin-yang of the water, the yin-yang of the fire, both acting on the air. What's missing to create chi, the energies universe, is the yin-yang from the earth. It could be the 51.6 degree angle. However, the earth is a giant electromagnet, so by placing an electromagnet at the end of the Thunderstorm generator, where the most energetic plasmoids are coming out, it may flip them into antimatter, again yin-yang. I've got myself confused with the spinning, but what I believe is needed is a double spiral coming in at 51.6 degrees. The coil needs to be 1.16 degrees, which is obviously very, very shallow, and obviously double, so it holds the plasmoid in place as it turns it. The theory being that the electromagnetic pulse will pull and push on the electrons, and where they're thinner and thicker, it will pull more on the thin end and push more on the fat end, causing one end to go into the other, which is similar to what the yin-yang looks like with the circle with a diameter of 3 on it. And the implications of this are, if this is true, it is just a theory until it's tested, and the test isn't particularly difficult. I would use a 7.3 hertz on the magnet, on the electromagnet first, just because that's the same as the earth. But the implications are all the ancient stonework would be explained, especially the vases, and mythological gods, the Greek gods, the Norse gods, the Roman gods, could all just be advanced civilizations, Poseidon is the one that sticks out with his two double-ended spear controlling lightning. The other implications or the other concerns would be Plato's story of Atlantis. At the moment, I'm using Professor Robert Schoch's theory on the Younger Dryas cataclysm, and it does kind of marry up with what could have happened if there'd been a massive antimatter leak. The other implications are I would find it really quite funny because the designs and instructions would have been laid down over 3,000 years ago, and it's only with modern knowledge that we understand how the yin-yang evolves. You know, as I say, this is just a theory, so don't get too excited until someone tests it, but it is quite a fun one. Thank you.